Hey guys, I'm Alan and welcome back to the channel. I've been using this VOX AC15 amp you guys see behind me for about 10 years now. I've been using it primarily for worship music, but I think it's finally time to move on to something else. So in this video, I'm going to talk about 5 reasons why I'm ready to sell this tube amp. Let's jump into the video. The first reason that I'm selling this amp is because it doesn't have a direct output. So I cannot plug this amp straight into my audio interface or into like a church PA system without using something like a Palmer load box. And those retail for like $630, which is almost the same price as this amp, which comes in at $700. And because of this, I still have to set up a mic anytime I want to use this amp. I have to mic it, which takes a little bit of extra time to set up and tear down. So just not having to mess with that mic at all would really help with my workflow. And having to mic the amp also creates the issue of more stage volume, which right now is kind of a no-no in 2020. You want to try to keep your stage volume as low as possible. So using an amp without a direct output in 2020 just doesn't really make a lot of sense anymore. The second reason that I'm selling this amp is because modeling technology has improved so much over the past few years. Most people right now are using Kempers or Line 6 helixes, and I've heard some really great tones out of these setups. And these setups are super quick to set up and tear down, and also they don't have any stage volume, so that's a huge plus. The third reason that I'm selling this amp is because it's pretty heavy to carry around. Even though it's only a 15 watt amp, it does come in at just under 50 pounds. Carrying just the amp by itself isn't so bad, but if you're also trying to carry a guitar case and a pedal board, you're pretty easily going to have to make at least 2 trips out to the car because it's pretty hard to carry all that in one trip. So if we compare that to a Kemper profiling amp, those weigh just around 12 pounds, and then if you look at the Line 6 Helix, that one weighs around 15 pounds. So those are both way lighter than this 50-pound tube amp. I'm not getting any younger, so using something that's lightweight and is really quick to set up and tear down is a huge plus for me. Since the Kemper and the Line 6 can both run direct, I don't have to worry about running mics anymore. I can just, whenever I'm recording videos, I can run everything straight into my audio interface, or if I'm playing live at a church or something, I can just run everything right into the PA system. So that saves a lot of time, kind of like I said a little bit earlier. Now the fourth reason, and probably also the most important reason that I'm selling my tube amp, is because I really need a new computer. I've been using a Dell laptop for about 3 years now, and it's a pretty decent computer. It has a Core i7 processor, 16 gigs of RAM, a 4K screen, a GTX 1060 Max-Q graphics card for video editing, and it was great whenever I bought it, but like all PCs, it has degraded rather quickly. I'm at a point right now where I really need to upgrade to something else if I'm going to continue making YouTube videos, which I love doing and have no plans to stop. And I end up wasting a lot of time every week because right now my computer, whenever I'm doing audio recordings and also video editing, I regularly push my CPU and my RAM to 100%, so it stutters a lot, as you can imagine. This means I have to often divide things up into several different steps that hopefully a more powerful computer can do all at once. For example, whenever I'm making my piano tutorial videos, I have to record the MIDI file kind of separately, and then I have to go back in and play that MIDI file in Synthesia, which is kind of the program that I use to put the little light up keys on the screen. So I have to do both of those in 2 separate steps, where I think a more powerful computer could probably record the MIDI file and also record my screen in Synthesia at the same time. So that would save me probably half the amount of time that it takes me to record a piano tutorial video right now. So anything that can speed up my workflow is just really huge, will help me push out more videos and hopefully even make my content a little bit higher quality as well. With my current computer, I also can't use any plugins as far as like compression, things like reverb, auto-tune, because my computer right now does not have enough RAM to really run very many things at once. So a new computer will really help me get better at like kind of audio mixing and things like that, because right now I really can't experiment with that stuff or really even get any better at audio mixing because my computer just won't allow me to. So if I want to improve in this area, I've got to get something else. The computer that I'm looking at saving up for is a 16-inch MacBook Pro, and this computer, I'll go over the specs in case anyone's interested. It's going to have an 8-core, 9th generation Intel Core i9 processor with turbo boost up to 5.0 gigahertz. It'll have 64 gigs of RAM and an AMD Radeon Pro 5600 with 8 gigs of HBM2 memory. Not sure what all that means, but 1 terabyte of solid state drive storage, 16-inch Retina display with True Tone color. I won't go over the ports, but also will come with a Logic Pro 10 for audio recording. I know that's an expensive computer, but I really want it to be something that will last me a long time because I don't want to be in a situation like I am right now where 3 years from now I need to upgrade computers again. So I want it to be something that I can really kind of grow into and hopefully be more powerful than I need. That way I can really kind of use it for a longer period of time. I know it's more logical to get a desktop computer or maybe even build one myself, build a PC, but since I edit on the go a lot, I really need it to be a laptop in order to keep my workflow at the same level that I have right now. Now, since this computer is so expensive, almost $4,500, I really need to sell anything that I'm not 100% satisfied to help me reach my goal of getting this computer more quickly. So selling this amp for around $350 will get me around 7.5% of the money that I need to buy this computer. And also I can, whenever I get a little bit closer to that goal, I can sell this computer behind me. If you guys can see that Dell laptop back there, I can also sell that and that'll help a little bit more. I'm planning on using plugins in Logic Pro for my guitar tones for YouTube videos until I can either save up enough money to get either a tube amp with better features or something like a Helix or a Kemper. And I know you PC people out there are cringing right now, and I used to be one of those people as well. You know, I used to think PCs were always so much cheaper and just a better value, and they definitely are cheaper. But I think you also have to look at PCs are great at having more raw power, but I think they are not as good at being really optimized for software. For example, my iPhone 8 Plus, which I've had for 4 years now, pretty much runs the same way that it did the day that I got it, and I have no desire to upgrade. Now, I do understand that a Windows laptop with similar specs is definitely cheaper, but by the time you add on either Ableton for around $500 or $70 a month for Pro Tools, the cost difference starts to be a little bit less, especially whenever you look at Logic Pro 10 is only $200, and it's not a subscription-based software, it's just a one-time purchase. And if I wanted to down the road, I could switch to Final Cut Pro, which I think is $300 for video editing software, if I did want to stop using Adobe Premiere Pro, which is $20 a month, but just goes on forever. You have to continue paying $20 a month instead of just $300 once. So that's another plus as well. The fifth reason that I'm selling this tube amp is because it's not really my dream amp. My dream amp is a matchless DC-30. One of the churches that I played at for a couple years had one of these at their church, and let me tell you, that is the best sounding amp that I've ever used. It's really hard to get bad tones out of the thing. Like no matter how you set the EQ or the settings, it pretty much always sounds good. So I would really like to have one of those maybe a few years down the road. So since this isn't my dream amp, I'm okay with letting this one go to maybe get something else better later on. I'm at a point in my life right now where I would rather have just kind of a few high quality things than a bunch of lower quality items. So I'm trying to sell as many things as I can to try to help me reach these goals sooner. These are all the reasons that I'm selling my VOX AC15 tube amp. And as you guys can tell from this video, it's mostly to save up for other things that I think are kind of a higher priority right now. And hopefully these other things will help me make higher quality YouTube videos, speed up my workflow a little bit, and overall just kind of make me less frustrated with having to use this computer every day and it crashing and just wasting a lot of time. I personally still love the tone of tube amps, and I'm not knocking this VOX at all. If you're kind of new to tube amps, I do recommend you guys check out the VOX AC15 because it's not too expensive at around $700. It's kind of right in that sort of middle ground, and it's a really nice sounding amp as well. But I just have some other things that are kind of taking priority over this amp, and it doesn't get used enough right now for me to justify keeping it. And I want to hear from you guys down in the comments. What kind of gear are you using? Are you using a tube amp? Are you using a Kemper or Helix or something similar to that? Hopefully I'll be able to get this computer within a few months, and then I can start saving up for either a different amp or something like a Kemper or a Helix. I'm not totally sure yet. I want to do a little more research on what I want to get next. But the first thing is just to get a computer to really kind of help speed up my workflow and make me less frustrated whenever I'm trying to edit and stuff. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to smash the like button and also subscribe if you're new here. I do tutorials for acoustic guitar, electric guitar, and also piano, and pretty much all centered around worship music. So if that's something you guys are interested in, be sure to stick around. And also, if you want to help me reach any of these goals sooner, you can also support the channel over on Patreon. We're getting really close to the first 10 patrons, so getting pretty excited about that. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.